Welcome to the Abundant Life Podcast, bringing you encouragement and challenging believers to spiritual change and growth by applying biblical principles to everyday life. And now your hosts, Sasso Mendez and Ben Ariano.
Welcome, everybody, to the Abundant Life Podcast. This is episode number 73. I'm here with my good friend and faithful servant in the faith, Sasso Mendez.
Hey, Ben, what's going on?
What's up, brother?
It feels like it's been a month or so.
It's been a minute.
Been a little bit.
But it's usually that, right? I mean,
Yeah. Once a month, I think it's a goal.
It's the norm.
Amicable.
Yeah.
We do have a special guest. He had just told me right now that his primo JJ did not set him up for success. But we have JJ's cousin, Peter, joining a special guest. And Peter, say hello.
How you doing? Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. JD didn't put me up on the game, man. He just threw me out there and just, I was like, man, just give me a little bit of, pointers or something.
Primo, bro, what's up, man? I mean, come on, man.
We had to tell JJ to
hook a brother up.
I know. JJ, eat the mic because JJ was far away. It sounded like he was.
JJ was chilling, right?
I know. You could barely hear him.
He was living his best life way back here.
He had that gangster lean in
He
the
was
chair.
supposed to. Yeah, that sounds like my
The seat all the
primo.
way back, and he could barely touch the pedals.
Yeah, that sounds like him. That sounds like my primo.
So we like to go ahead and just what we call this taco talk, and every guest that we have, we like to ask them what is their favorite food, or what is your palate fancy.
My wife, she makes these tacos de chicharron.
Wow. Okay.
So those are my little go-to. And my sister makes these. We just had them yesterday because we went to a birthday party. But some green chicken chili enchiladas with the cream of chicken. And just good, man, fire.
Well, when I went to the hospital to see you, was your sister made you a pie or a cake, or what was that?
It was a cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Yeah, it was a cheesecake. Half cheesecake.
I know you politely offered, and we're supposed to decline, but Tony did not decline, and he took a big piece. He'll say, "Oh, no, thank you, bro." Even though he wants it, you're supposed to say no. But he did indulge.
That's not shocking, bro.
No, it's not.
I would expect nothing less from Tony.
Human garbage disposal.
No.
Give it to Mikey. Give it to Tony.
He's a large man. I think you had some Carl's Juniors or something.
Oh yeah, it was that was my little stint right there in the hospital for a little bit while I was doing the radiation. They were bring me food, and had the hospital food, but my sister and my wife they would bring me food. Little snacks.
She bring you tacos de chicharrón in the hospital?
No, I didn't get none of that. They didn't bring me none of that, man.
But since you've been back home, that she took you up?
Oh yeah. Yes, like I said yesterday, we went to a party and she had that.
The green chili enchiladas?
Yeah, the enchiladas.
Is that green chili from like Hatch, New Mexico, or is it just?
Oh no, it's just from my area.
Just from here,
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Like from Buckeye? Buckeye green chili? No hatch. Okay, not imported?
No, I mean.
Because Ben's from New Mexico, so he's kind of
I'm a chili snob.
a little snobbish on the green chili.
I love that green chili from New Mexico. It's good stuff, man.
No, that's where I was born. I was born out there.
Oh yeah, where at, man?
I was born in Hobbs, New Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom, my
Was
dad.
it JJ?
We were both.
Lived, he was born.
Yeah,
out there too?
we just found out, me and JJ together. We didn't just find out, but I just found out that he was born out there too as well. He lived with my mom. Well, he didn't, but his parents lived with my parents for a time out there.
He's from Hobbs too, right?
Yeah, he was born out there. He was born out there too.
Hospital?
That sounded familiar. Yeah, that JJ was from there. Yeah. All right, so fellow New Mexicans here, right on, bro. Viva New Mexico.
I don't know nothing. Honestly, I don't know nothing about New. I mean, I got family out there and everything. I mean, I've never lived out there. I spent all my life out here. I was just born out there, and I came out here to Arizona, where my family's at.
Okay.
Yeah. Where did you live here? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Guadalupe, Arizona. Yeah, I'm from Guadalupe, Arizona, and I grew up with my two sisters and two cousins. My grandma raised five of us there in the house. You know what I mean?
So you got any good spots down there to eat in Guadalupe?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they got the tianguis. They always have different little shops in there, the little Mexican shops, or different little restaurants. I haven't been there in a while, but there's some pretty good. They got a good seafood, like a mariscos in there.
Yeah. All right. Some
I'm always
ceviche.
apprehensive about mariscos in Arizona because we're so far from the ocean. You know what I mean?
Oh
I'm a
yeah.
little nervous.
Fresh seafood.
Yeah. Is this
We're-
gatito or gatito they
We're-
put some spray on, some sardine spray?
Where's the ocean at that they're getting that from?
Yeah.
You know, like Pleasant.
I know. It cannot park at the lake. Like Savas
Or the river.
Yeah, like the Simpsons or the fish with the 3 eyes, you know, out of the power plant. Like, you never know, you know. You don't get the chorro from the fish.
Out there in the river bottom.
I know, yeah. Salt River over there.
How close to, what is it, Palo Verde? Or what is it? Not Palo Verde.
That's a power plant.
Yeah, it's a power plant. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a nuclear
Peter
power
lived
plant
over there.
yeah.
Peter lived by the Palo Verde.
There you go,
Yeah.
man.
Buckeye, right?
Young Buckeye, yeah.
Find the fish with the 3 eyes there, bro.
I know.
It's a little mission out there, man. But
Well,
it's
thank you
growing.
for coming out here. I mean, I remember I had a court case over there. When I say court case, I mean my dog got out of the gate. It's not like, you know, anything crazy. But I went to the front and I asked the person. I was like 45 minutes late. I said, hey, you know, where do I go? And the guy's like, hey, go to there's a little small. I mean, it's a small office with a courtroom. He said, go in the courtroom, wait for the judge. So I wait 10 minutes, and then it's the same guy with the black robe on. I'm like, it's the same guy that was at the front desk. And he said, how do you plead? And I mean, it was a misdemeanor for my dog. And so I pleaded guilty, whatever. And then he's like, go to the front and pay the fine. So I go to the front and I'm waiting another 10 minutes. The same guy with no robe on takes my money. He's like, okay, thank you. And I'm like, this thing.
Like the same dude. He's
It's the
all
same
the
guy.
positions.
He's the police, the judge, secretary, everything. I'm like, dang, Buckeye is a small place.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
I'm sure it's bigger now, but it's like a one-horse town, as they would say. Pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go through there and you're just one road, 85 was Road 85 or Highway 85 or something. Just go straight through there. It's pretty small, but it's growing all the way out to Tonopah and all that area is growing pretty fast.
So how long did it take you to get out here? About 45 minutes?
Yeah, man, probably about an hour.
Wow. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I was kind of late too. I mean, I thought, you know, so I was like, but
We were worried about you. I was going to call JJ to see if he could fill in if you didn't show, you know. Well, I thought maybe you'd fallen asleep or something, you know, and, you know, you got tired or whatever. I know you're going through a lot, so.
yeah. So,
All right, well, we can get into it. Anything interesting you eaten? I mean, we've been to B-Dubs a couple times, but...
Yeah, nothing special. I mean, you know, I've had George and Sons the other day. I know you don't care too much for Asian, but it was pretty good. I like it. I mean, it's upgraded from Panda, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's good Asian food.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I don't know. I just kind of...
I mean, because I like rice and I like, noodles and, that kind of stuff. And then, they make the chicken spicy. I got the General Yang or Sao or whatever it is. Chicken. It's spicy, and I like spicy.
General Gato.
General Perrito.
Sophie, come here.
Oh, man, that's horrible.
Do you like Chinese food, Peter?
I haven't really been big. I've never really been big on Chinese food. Not, a big fan of it. My wife, she is. I just don't understand it. I mean, I don't know. She got my kids all into sushi right now, and
Oh, boy.
and it seems like it's everywhere, and I don't understand. I just barely found out, I guess, or just learned that sushi's rice, and I didn't know that. And I probably sound dumb right now because I guess it's just rice and just other little things that they roll
raw,
up.
I mean, you can get raw fish, you can get shark, tuna, whatever. You can get all kinds of things.
In the roll. Yeah,
in the roll.
But it's pretty much just rice, right?
In a roll. It's a California roll, but then they put like raw salmon or whatever.
Like
crap.
the rice is the tortilla, and then they put things in it, but
Yeah, I haven't.
expensive too.
Yeah, it's not very flavorful, honestly. I mean, I've had it. It's just, I don't know. I get like what you're saying. I don't get the sushi. Like I don't.
Yeah, raw
It's
fish.
just different.
No.
There's different things in there that they were explaining to me.
You can get
There's-
avocado roll.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
But it's like $18 for
like 3 rolls.
Yeah, I'm like,
Nah, bro.
Yeah,
You go to
don't.
Philly Bertos, they give you carne asada with $14, but it's full of meat.
Yeah, I could feed all 4 of my kids or all 3 of my kids with one burrito. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the
You're paying
sushi.
like $85 for
The 12 ounce ribeye at Texas Roadhouse for $20. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have some.
$34.99, bro. Bone in, 20 ounce. You know what I mean?
And or one,
Yeah, the bone in's good. The 20 ounce, yeah.
Well, remember we went to Ensenada and they had those pools of fish where they're like, that pool with the net is very expensive.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, and it's like wasn't it like owned by the Chinese government or something? Like it was like other countries that.
Like the Chinos owned it, bro.
Yeah.
From Mexico.
Huh?
And
Like
it was
there's
like
some-
these, in the middle. Was it the ocean, right?
Yeah.
And they had like where they were cultivating these fish, probably for
Like
sushi.
fish farms. They're farms.
And they're
yeah.
high-end fish that they
Yeah.
sold for a lot of money.
Yeah. Like one fish is like thousands of dollars or something
it's
crazy.
ridiculous.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Puro-
And they're like guarded too. Like, aren't they like, I mean, they're watched like
Yeah.
in case
There's
people
cameras or
come
whatever.
try to steal it. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
And they make after they breed them and stuff, they put them on the grill.
So I think what they do is they sell them to high-end restaurants throughout the world, and I think they're very valuable fish. So it's a
Expensive.
it's expensive fish, whatever the fish
Probably
is. but
like sushi. That's the real, the high end sushi.
the high-end sushi,
yeah.
not the all-you-can-eat
okay.
$12.
Not like the poke bar or whatever it's called, pocket bar or whatever.
The ones they got in Rancho Mart right here.
You want
Mariscos.
a rancho.
Mariscos at Food City.
Yeah, you're not gonna see that there.
Yeah, how to get sushi in that in the Rancho Marts.
This is AJ fish, this is high-end.
Yeah.
But they're really valuable, right? I don't know. They put a net in the middle of the ocean, and
That's wild. It looks like a ring just floating on the water, but then the net goes underneath. But they're like fish farms or something like that.
Wow,
That's pretty wild.
I can see fish get too fat and they can't fit out the net. I don't know how that works, but
I don't know. Or maybe they just string it up and throw it on the boat and
yeah, they
let's
could.
go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
they got a wrangler or somewhere. Somebody go down and wrestle
Yeah,
them.
maybe.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they're big,
So Mexico, who knows? But it's big business. They sold it to the
To the Chinese people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So give me your fried rice recipe, and we'll let you have a net in the water. I don't know, some trade, some bartering.
Something. Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's get into it. And before we get into the content, just want to remind you guys to visit us at abundantlife.fm. You can download episodes. You can also check us out on YouTube. We have all of our videos. We've been putting up some cool content. We got some reels and shorts now coming up, and so we've been doing a lot of stuff with social media. So check that out for sure.
See JJ.
Yeah, you can check out JJ up there. I don't know, it's a few podcast episodes ago, and we had the one with JJ and his police officer buddy.
Forgive me, I can't remember his name.
I know, I'm trying to think right now. Anyway, but visit us on YouTube. We're also on Meta, on Facebook and Instagram. And actually, we just started TikTok, so we get a lot of hate on TikTok, bro.
Really?
Love
it.
We did the Charlie Kirk episode, and man, we get a lot of hate on there, bro. But it's all good, man. I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, but you watched it, bro. So
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
thanks for the.
I mean, we get a lot of watches on there.
Yeah.
On TikTok.
Yeah, we get some decent watches. We've been getting a lot of love on the shorts on YouTube.
Okay.
And then some on Instagram too, but yeah, we get most of the hate on TikTok, right?
A lot of the kids,
Yeah, it's a
Liberals.
younger, yeah, for
I think
sure.
they're
So,
nothing better, dumb.
I know, right? But
You're young, sorry.
But do you still get like views? You still get views?
oh yeah,
So it's still like
yeah, that's what I'm
there's
saying.
still
Like
some
they're
positive-
still watching it. You know what I mean? They might comment and say
Right,
something negative or whatever, but I'm like, yeah, but you watched it, bro. So,
Yeah, like the people that say like anti-Elon club and they have a Tesla, like you still bought the Tesla. Right?
yeah, and then they burn it, and I'm like, bro, like seriously, like you just might as well take that money and flush it down the
You
toilet.
can buy my products and burn them as much as you want. Just
Yeah.
keep buying them.
Yeah,
So yeah,
keep
it's-
giving me your money.
Yeah, it's dumb. I seen a guy with the Charlie Kirk shirt on just right now, actually, on the mountain. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So visit us abundantlife.fm, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. And with that, we're going to get into our verse of the day, and we'll get into some content here.
All right, Philippians 4:13. This is a verse that Peter stated his mom used to say to him, and a special verse to him, especially now as he's going through a difficult time in his life. But first, Philippians 4:13, the Bible says, "I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me." All right, Peter. With that transition here, what do you want our audience to know? Your family, your kids, as you tell your story, what are the pieces you want to pull out of that? Of how God has worked in your life in the past and then all the way up to today.
Wow, it's been I'm 43 years old, man, and I feel like I've lived a pretty extensive, hard life. You know what I mean? It's been rough. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up pretty rough, man. I grew up going by Triste. They used to call me Triste when I was a kid. Triste boy, my mom used to call me that. when I was a kid, and I grew up. I didn't know God. I didn't know nothing about God, And I grew up. My mom was a heroin addict, and so my dad was a block layer, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she got addicted to heroin. And so I was raised. Me and my sister were raised in Guadalupe by my grandmother, and so my mom was in and out of prison, and her being in and out of prison. Being a heroin addict herself, I followed her into the streets basically because she was on the streets, So I followed her into the streets. I was a mama's boy, I got two sisters, a younger one and an older one, and she was in and out of prison, and she was a Christian. She knew the Lord, and so she would always feed me. I was in the streets with her. I was at a very young age. I was already doing drugs. I was running the streets. I used to run the streets looking for her. Because she was in the streets looking for her drug. She was chasing her. It was crazy because she was chasing her drug, and I was chasing her. Like I was chasing her affection, the love that a mom. Because I was a little boy. You know what I mean? And I was a mama's boy, so. I went through all that in there, and the town is it's pretty rough. It could be rough, on kids, when I was growing up, in the time that I was growing up there, it was pretty rough. And but the one thing that she always did was every time she got out, she would feed the word to me. When she would write to me, she would tell me about God, how Jesus died on the cross for me, and you know what I mean. And I would just, okay, Mom, whatever, like when you're out the other, because of how she was living her life, it was hard for me to believe anything that she was telling me about God. So I just didn't believe it, And I started getting arrested for Grand Theft Auto, like JJ. When we growing up, we started stealing. I was, out of all of us, me, JJ, and my primos. There's quite a bit of us. I'm one of the older ones, so like they watched me do things. You know what I mean? They learned as we were growing up as kids. I started stealing cars when I was like 11, 12 years old, driving cars on the freeway. I started driving on the freeway when I was like 13 years old. And I got arrested. I was getting arrested in and out. When I was like 9 years old, I threw a table at one of my teachers and I started getting arrested. I had a real bad anger issues, My dad had a bad temper. He was a good man. My dad was a good, hardworking man. He was a block layer, and he just, he drank. He was he liked the beer, and but he had a temper. He had a bad temper, man. And his wife got addicted to heroin, so it's a battle. It was a battle that he had to face as well. It must have been hard too, for a man that's going to work every day, and then you got a wife, and it's hard. So it didn't work for them, they grew apart, and that was a traumatic, one of the first traumatic things for me, and little did I know that my life, like I said, I grew up being called triste, and one of my tios, he was a Cristiano too. He was my mom's oldest brother. He told me, man, why do you guys give your guys selves nicknames, man? And you guys, your parents gave you guys good names. You got a biblical name, Peter Daniel. That's my name, and
biblical name.
Yeah, right.
Right. And he goes, because you guys become, eventually you guys become your name. You guys are calling your guys yourselves whatever you guys are calling yourselves, and it's like you guys are taking on that identity. It's creating who you are. And I never really. He told me that when I was a kid, and I never really understood it until. And me, I always thought, okay, well, it's the opposite because I'm not sad. I'm not. You don't see me sad ever, and so it was like, you call a big dude tiny, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like that. It's like the opposite, you know. And
Like Tony, tiny.
That's funny, bro. That's actually funny.
I was gonna take a shot, but I said it for you, you know.
Teed it up.
But so you know, it kind of did took a life on my life, you know. So as I started growing up, you know, I got locked up when I was 14. That's when I finally got locked up, when the judge finally said, you know what, I'm done. It was 4th of July. Me and my brother, I was gonna go talk to some chick, and you know, I got him with me, you know, and my brother went with me. He was younger, you know. He's my primo, but my grandmother raised us, you know what I'm saying? So my brother left. He went with me, and we went, and I stole a car, and we ended up, long story short, we ended up coming back to Guadalupe, and I'm driving. Well, what ended up happening is that like a week before this, I call them my brothers, but these are my primos, you know what I mean? We all grew up, like JJ told you guys, we all grew up real close, you know, bro. And I got another brother named Chato. He's a little bit older. He's a year older than me. You know, we're the same age, and we grew up with each other as well, you know. And a week before, he had wanted to turn himself in to go back to Adobe Mountain, because that's where we would go. And I went with him, and it was a week prior to this, and we went and knocked on the sheriff's office, and he goes and wants to turn himself in, and we're 13, 14 years old, you know, and it's like 2:00 in the morning, and he wants to turn himself in, and the cop's like, nah, man, dude, what are you talking about? I can't, you got to go home. There's no warrant here for your arrest, so I can't just lock you up, you know, so I got to take you back home. Well, that same officer, fast forward to when me and Louis when I stole this car, I'm driving into Guadalupe, and the officer that had seen me a week prior to this, he's driving into Guadalupe, and I'm driving out of Guadalupe, and he sees me. So he sees, hey, I just seen this little kid a week ago. Now he's driving, you know what I mean? So it must have probably looked crazy, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, wow. Now I sit back and I think about it. I'm like, how can I see a 13-year-old kid? I'm like, man, I can't see myself driving, man. Like, but that's what it was. I mean, we were really driving cars like that. And so that's how he seen me, and he flipped. He flipped it, and he turned his lights on, and he got behind us. And the judge was tired, and she was like, you know, you're going to Adobe Mountain for a year. Wow. And so I was 14 years old, and I went to Adobe Mountain for a year, and that's where my life changed. And you know, I really want to speak on this too. Is that, you know, the youth, like in my neighborhood, you know, I would like to go back in there and maybe try to speak to the youth, because, you know, I went to Adobe Mountain, and you know, that was supposed to be something for youth, a youth like prison rehabilitation type thing, right? But when I was growing up, you know, that was basically just, you go there and you learn more crime. You go and get educated. Yeah, it's Adobe Mountain School. You're going to go over there and get educated, but it's not the education that, you know, so that's what happened to me. I went there and I just got educated on all kinds of dumb stuff, but you go there and, you know, it's a battle zone. You're having to fight. You're having to, you know what I mean, defend yourself, and, you know, people want to bully you and all that. So you go there and it's rough, you know. Yeah. And there's little kids there where it's all to Adobe Mountain. It's the kid thing, you know. So she sentenced me there for a year. I had to go there for a year. This was 96. I was 14 years old. And so I went there, and I'm there for a year, and, you know, my brother Chop was there, Lefty's there. You know, I think JJ pulled up there. He was in the cottage right next to me at one time. And, well, I was in a cottage, and there was this dude, man, and he used to get bullied a lot. He was always getting bullied, you know what I mean? And I was a travieso, so my name was always out there, you know, but mine, my primo, my brothers, all of us were always traviesos, so our names were always up there with the directors, and I was always getting in trouble. You know what I mean? And there was some little white dude that was always getting bullied in that cottage, and he went and he told an officer that I had tried to stick a shampoo bottle up his, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they went and they sent me to the hole. I had to go to the hole. They sent me to the hole. And for like 3 days, he said that he made up this story because he wanted to get moved out the cottage. He was getting bullied, you know what I mean? And me being the travieso, it was easy to go ahead and say, oh, yeah, I mean, it's more believable. This dude's always getting in trouble, you know what I'm saying? So what ended up happening, though, is that they moved me. I get moved to another cottage. I had already been there a year, and I went to my parole board, and they denied it, you know what I mean? So I got mad. I was already been there for a year. I got mad because they moved me for one. Two, like, now I'm not going home or what, like, you know, so I went to another cottage, and they were like, well, get your levels, and, you know, and I was like, nah. They moved my brother in there to try to, you know what I'm saying, make us do good, and I started doing good there for a little bit, but when I went to my parole board and he denied me, I got mad. I got really upset, so I came back, and there was this other kid there. And he came in, he was working in the kitchen, he came in and he was wearing some new shoes, some Nikes, you know, so I was like, hey, let me see your shoes. And I tried them on, they didn't fit me, so I took the shoelaces off. And I'm angry, I'm mad, you know, and so I was like, hey, man, you got jacked, you know. The shoes didn't fit me, but my primo JJ had just pulled up into the next cottage, so I was like, they're gonna fit him, you know what I mean? He got a little small foot, you know. But long story short, man, you know, it was just part of the environment of what was going on there in Adobe, you know what I'm saying? And he said some disrespectful things and about his shoes, you know, because I told him, you got jacked, you know what I'm saying? And so I went in there and I beat him up, you know, and then there was a shoelace hanging out of my pocket, and I got it, and I started choking him. And like I said, I was an angry kid, man. I was pretty angry, man. And I choked him. I was choking him. I was just angry for everything, like everything that I had been through in my life, you know. And it was just a whole bunch of stuff, man. And that was the turning point right there. They came and the officers dumped me, and you know, they pulled me off. Anyways, long story short, they ended up sending me to from Adobe Mountain. They sent me to Madison, which was at the time the jail here, you know, downtown in Arizona. You know, it was a jail, but they had juveniles there as well. You know, so when you get charged as an adult from Adobe Mountain, they would send you over there. So they sent me to Madison as a juvenile, and so now I'm being charged as an adult. They wanted first to charge me for attempted whatever, because they said that I tried to attempt supposedly. No, just the shampoo.
Oh, gotcha.
But then they hit me with attempt. They could have hit me for attempted murder, because the guy could have said, well, I was choking him, that, you know, I said I was going to kill him. But they got me for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I was 15 years old now. I'm 15 years old. My mom's in the county jail, okay? I don't have an adult guardian there representing me or telling me, you know what, Mio, don't sign that plea bargain. As a minor, you know, at that time, you know, in 97, 98, you know, I was only 15 years old. What am I going to know about a plea bargain? You know, like you're putting this plea bargain right here. This is my life, and you're telling me to sign something that I'm 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? You ask, I think about it now, like I'm like, but like the kids nowadays, like if you get a 15-year-old kid and you put a plea bargain in front of him that has to do with his life, man, like he's not gonna understand it. And me, I'm trying to get out of there. I'm getting tired of being in jail. You know, the food is nasty. They treat you bad. You know, I think that's the whole part of the system, you know. And so it's just in and out. I want to sign this plea bargain. So I signed a plea bargain. 5 years for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And they gave me probation for the attempted whatever the shampoo, whatever, you know. And that's the whole thing. Like, they were just wanting it in and out. Like, you know, instead of, you know, really doing an investigation and me not knowing what I was signing. I didn't know what I was signing. I was signing something that was gonna, you know, pretty much I had a hard life because of all that. You know what I mean? Like I went to prison for 5 years, man. You know, from now I'm 15 years old going to prison, you know, for 5 years. And I go to Rincon Miners, and I'm in Rincon Miners there, man. And you know, one thing that I didn't tell you, well, I didn't start off by telling, I should have, like, growing up in my neighborhood, I had uncles that were, well, I had uncles that been to the prison, so I had people that were well known in prison, you know, and so, and my mom, she had a lot of friends. So me, unbeknownst to me, that I was being kind of trained or raised to be a part of the lifestyle that prison lifestyle type, you know. I guess somebody's seen it that I was going to be in prison later on in life, and they wanted to start, you know, grooming me, you know, for that life. And I ended up getting caught up in a lot of that, and but at the same time, like I said, my mom was in and out, and so she was always throwing the palabra at me, you know, and it would stick. Some of it would stick, you know. And I was in prison. She was being in and out of prison. She finally got out in 99. She got out of jail, and excuse me. She started doing good, man, and I was proud of her. You know, in 99, I was 17 years old. I was proud of her, man, and she was going to a church, a Body of Breakthrough church. I don't know if you guys remember, they had a radio station. It was a Christian oldies radio station. Oh, really? Yeah, back in the days, and so she was into that. You know, she would go to church, and she started visiting me. You know, and I started seeing a little bit of change in her. You know, she was doing good, and there was one Thursday there that I called home, and I remember I called home, and she was gonna come visit me. She had bought a '69 Impala, and she drove it all the way from Guadalupe to Tucson to go visit me. You know, it was all beat up, but she was proud of it. You know, like, you know, she had her little lowrider. You know, and it was my favorite. That was that's my favorite car, a '69 Impala. You know, and my nana used to tell me, yeah, you know, she has bricks. We went to go grocery shopping, and I didn't even have no room in the trunk because she has cinder blocks in the trunk. But like, she wanted to lower it, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, that's still ghetto. You know? But like, I mean, she was proud of it, you know. It was something that she was working for, you know, and she was doing so good, man. I was proud of her.
When it comes to keeping your home comfortable, you want a company you can trust, one that serves with excellence, integrity, and faith. At Cantaloupe Air, we're a Christian-owned plumbing and HVAC contractor proudly serving the Phoenix metro area. Whether you need prompt AC repair, expert plumbing solutions, or a brand new system installation, our family is here to serve your family with honesty and care. So call us today at 602-609-3480 or visit cantaloupe.com to schedule your service. That's 602-609-3480 or cantaloupe.com. Cantaloupe, keeping your home cool, comfortable, and cared for with values that matter.
Well, one Thursday I called home, and she's like, yeah, Mio, I'm going to go see you on Sunday. You know, I'll be there. And I was like, all right, Mom. And okay, Saturday, it was a Saturday night, I think. And I had just got back to Rincon Miners, because at Rincon Miners, it's a little step up from Adobe. You know, now, you know, you're in the big, kind of not bigger, you're in the bigger leagues, you know, and it's still little gangs, you know. But just like I said, I was being trained. Like, I was already writing to, like, people. I was already in contact with individuals that were up there in the prison organizations and lifestyles, you know, and from the miners unit, you know, and so I was trying to run the miners unit like an adult, you know, like adult prison, you know. And I had got in trouble, and they had sent me to Florence, and they had in SMU, they had a little area for teenagers. But my mom had got back. Sorry if I'm all over the place, you know what I mean? Sometimes that's how I am. Sometimes my stories are all over, but it all connects. And what ended up happening is that I ended up coming back to Rincon Miners, and my mom was visiting me, and she was going to come visit me that Sunday. Well, on that Saturday, it was like maybe 7, 8, gonna be close to count time, and I was gonna smoke a cigarette. We went out of cigarette, being traviesos. I was a little kid, and my door pops, and I look, and I thought, oh man, what did I, he goes, hey, the sergeant wants to talk to you. I'm like, what do you mean? I start thinking, what did I do this time, And I went, and I see the sergeant and the officer standing right there, and he's nervous, man. The sergeant's walking, like he's pacing, like he's nervous, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, man, and now I start thinking, man, what did I do? You know what I mean? Like this dude, it looks like I probably did something bad, So I'm sitting there thinking I'm in trouble or something, and he's like, I don't know how to tell you this. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And he goes, well, I just got off the phone, and your mom has passed away. And I got up, I jumped up. I was, that's how I had a bad temper, man. I was really an aggressive, really, really bad temper, aggressive juvenile, and I got mad and I jumped up, and because he's telling me my mom's dead, you know what I mean? And the other officer grabbed me and sat me down. He was like, calm down, And I was like, man, I want to call home, He's like, yes, go ahead. You're gonna call your sister. And I called home, and the first thing my sister told me, my baby sister, she's a year younger. She was like, brother, please don't do nothing dumb, bro. Please don't. Promise me, And we cried it out, man. It was hard, to tell a 17-year-old kid that, his mom's gone while he's locked up, Now what do I do? Who do I chase? You know what I'm saying? Who do I chase into the streets, or, you know what I mean? Like it was pretty rough, man. My addictions, because that's where it stands, because I was raised by an addict, so my drug of choice was crystal meth, real young. Like JJ told you guys, we used to smoke real young, driving cars, and the heroin, I never messed with it, man, because it killed my mom, you know what I mean? Like I was 17 years old, man, and I hated that drug. I hated it with a passion, man, and I never messed with it. It wasn't my drug of choice, In 2002, I get out. I'm 19 years old, man, and I get out for the first time. Now I'm out. After all these years that I've done as a child, I finally get out into this world that I don't know how to live. My mom's gone. I've been locked up as a kid. Now I'm 19 years old, coming out into the world. Like, they didn't teach me nothing in there, you know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to do? And it was crazy because I was only out for like a month and a half. I ended up meeting some girl at my dad's, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I've been married 3 times, you know what I mean? But it's a very big part of my life, man. My first wife, like when I was young, I was a kid, I was still getting in trouble. Like it was like puppy love, like, so we just. Yeah, I was in prison. I went to prison, and I got 4.5 years. Well, I was still, okay, so in 2002 I got out, and I was still being a travieso, and I ended up meeting some girl. I get locked up. I get 4.5 years for a stolen car because I was out there stealing cars and still doing dumb stuff. She marries me in prison. I marry her behind the glass, In 2003 or 4, I get locked up, and they give me 4.5 years, and she wants to marry me. So my nana and her mom drive up there to Florence, where I was at, and I was 19 years old, and we're behind glass, and we got to say our vows and all that. It was kind of weird. It was an experience, It was kind of weird, you know what I mean, to get married behind glass. But I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. But you know, we ended up. She ended up divorcing. She wanted to go. We were young, so I didn't take it too much to heart. It kind of did break my heart, to tell you the truth. I can't lie. You know, I was heartbroken because that was my first love, and you know, puppy love or whatever. You know, and she leaves me in there. So then I'm in there by myself, and I get out in 2007. I get out, and now, you know, I get out in 2007. I don't have. You know, she divorced me. Okay, now it's 2007. I'm living at my nana's. All right, and at my nana's, you know, I start working. I'm working block, and they're paying me $400 every Friday. And so my primos, they're from the west side. I got cousins that live out here on the west side, and every Friday he would come pick me up to take me out of Guadalupe. You know what I'm saying? He seen that I was doing good. You know, I'm making money. You know, I'm working. I got a job. You know, so every Friday he would come and he would take me out of Guadalupe, and he was showing me different. We'd go to clubs because I had never been to a club. You know what I'm saying? I had never done a lot of stuff that teenagers did, and you know what adults do. It's you know, because I've been locked up pretty much all my life. So there was things that he would take me out here to come out here to experience. You know what I'm saying? Go to pool halls or clubs, dancing or whatever. You know. And so I was doing that every Friday. Well, one day he was like, "Hey, you want to go to a Pop Warner game?" You know, my brother's son's in the Pop Warner. I was like, "Yeah." So we go. Long story short, we're coming back home, and we pull up at a stoplight, and there's a Tahoe pulls up, and there's this girl, and she looks at me, and I look at her, and we lock eyes, you know, and I just threw my hands up, you know, and me being, I'm shy, you know, I don't have that macaroni, like that macaframa, you know, I don't have that, you know, I don't have the gift for gab, you know, and so I just threw my hands, and I was kind of like nervous, and my primo was like, "Just ask her for her number," you know, so I just go like that, you know, and then she's like, you know, she does like this, so I pull in, and I'm like, what do I tell her? You know, I'm telling my primo, what I tell her? Just ask her for her number, you know, and I'm like, all right, tell her your name, you know, and I was like, hey, all right. So I go, hey, my name's Stacey, you know, like, what's okay, get your number, and she gave me her number, she said her name was Angela, you know, and I was like, all right, Angela, I'll give you a call, you know. So we left, and I ended up talking to her, and we hit it off pretty good, man. And we got to know each other. And she came into this relationship with 2 children. One of them was 6 months, and Aiden was 6 months old. AJ was like 4 or 5 years old, you know. And so she had kids, you know, and so I didn't have kids. I haven't had kids, you know, and she came to this relationship with 2 boys, you know. So we hit it off right off the rip. And our first date, I could remember that I had told my sister to make us some enchiladas, some of those enchiladas, you know what I'm saying? And if she can babysit, well, you know, and that's what she did. She had a little table like this right here, and she made it like a little restaurant, you know what I mean? And we had a little date, me and her. And I was still being a travieso, though, you know. I didn't know how to. I was still working. She was working. She had just moved from Oklahoma. I'm being a travieso still, you know. Okay, so it's 2007. I get locked up. I get out. I kill my number. I finally kill my number in 2007. I killed my number in 2007, and me and her we just spontaneously, it was 2000, at the end of 2007, in December 31st, we just said, let's go to Vegas and get married, you know. I had never been outside of Arizona, been locked up all my life, you know, it's just, and so just spontaneously we're like, hey, well, okay, let's go. So my primo James and my sister Sonia, we took them to be our witnesses to Vegas. We went, on New Year's Eve in 2007. So we went up there and just bought a little cheap hotel outside of the strip, and we went there with little money, and we're just for the experience, let's just go down and try to gamble at each casino, just for the experience. It was pretty nice, and we ended up getting married out there in 2007. We got to see the New Year. We brought in the New Year's of 2007, and what she brought to the relationship is something that I've always wanted. I've always wanted to be a dad. I've always wanted to be a husband. You know what I'm saying? And she brought that. I was given that. God blessed me with that. I was still being a travieso. I got it together though after I had killed my number in 2007. That means this is the first time in all my life that I don't have no probation or nothing. I'm working. We have our house, and in 2008, she gets pregnant, and she gives birth to my first son, which was the most life-changing experience that I've ever had in my life. Watching my son be born, it was such that God. It was a blessing. It's something that you can never forget. Like when you see your first child be born, it's amazing. It's just crazy. But she gave birth to my son, man, and that was 2008. And then in 2009, she gave birth to my second son. My first son was Angelo. We named him Angelo. And then in 2009, she gave birth to my second son, Alonzo. That was in 2009. And then in 2010, we were doing good. She was working for the Bank of America, and I was working for another company. We had a house. I was working for a steel company. And we're doing good. I'm not, here and there, my primo would come, and I'd go drink with him. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't messing with drugs. Here and there, maybe I would dabble and dabble, but I wasn't. I was doing the family thing. I was learning how to pay bills, all the stresses of the world, that I didn't know how to get accustomed to, and she was helping me. She was God sent, In 2010, we were in Phoenix at my tia's house, because we had a house on the south side, 35th, and my tia lived on 59th in Thomas, and we're at a birthday party over there. And we had a Suburban one. It was like a 95. It was like one of them old Suburbans. And we had, 4 of my children. And we're at my tia's house. And we were going back. We were leaving my tia's house. And we got on 55th and Thomas. And I was going east. And we're arguing. Me and her, we were having an argument. And I turn on Thomas. And I start picking up speed, and me and her, and I don't see that there's this car stalled out. There's a car that's stalled out right there. And I guess she sees it, and she yanks on the steering column. I try to get a hold of it, and I can't. It's hard. It's a big Suburban, and it just gets out of hand, and we hit a brick wall, and it flips. I guess the wheels were in the air, She died on impact. And me, if you can see the scar, I cracked my whole head, I got out of the vehicle, I crawled out the vehicle, and one of my primos was right there. And he said that I said some words, and I just fell back out, I passed back out, And I remember waking up in the hospital, and my dad's right there, my sister, and the first thing I remember was just getting wheeled into, and my sister told me that I'm going into emergency surgery, because my brain was hemorrhaging. I had blood in my brain. And so my sister said that they're rushing me to emergency surgery, and I just passed out again after that. And I was there for couple days, and then I guess I woke up again, and I started asking questions like, "Where's Angela?" Her name's Angela, and I was like, "Where's Angela? Where's And nobody says nothing. Where my kids at? All the kids are fine, and and finally, they came and told me that she had passed away, and I lost it, It's because it's like, when you go through so much as a young child in life, and you finally get to where you feel like, okay, this is where, I'm supposed to be, and then something just hits you like that, you're like, oh man, like it's pretty, Yeah. And and when I tell my story, sometimes people are like, man, how can you, how do you get through that? You know what I mean? Like it's hard. It was a tough one, man. Like, because she taught me so much about life. You know what I mean? Like she was an angel. Her name's Angela. You know what I mean? She was. And it's crazy because God is good, man. Like I'm blessed, bro. Like even with the hardships that I got going on right now, I still feel blessed, man. Because I get locked up in 2010, man. They don't. It's okay. So I lived in Southside 35th, and in 2010, that's when I lived there. And I don't know if you guys remember, man. There was it's when that big old fallout where I think there was an African American, like a congressman that had got roughed up by the South Mount precinct. There was like an investigation on that precinct at that time, and well, at that time I was living in that area, and after I lost her, man, I had a nervous breakdown, man. I didn't know how to live. I wasn't even supposed to get out the hospital. I took myself because I wanted to go to the velo to when they buried her, and so I was there, but I wasn't all there in the head, I wasn't at all, I had just lost somebody that was the most important person in my life, like my kids just lost their mom, it was hard, and I didn't know how to deal with it, and so, my family, they didn't know how to deal with me either because it was due to them, and so they were trying to be helpful. They would go and stay with me. They would go and help me, like make me food, clean the house. Well, one day my nana and my sister went over there, and I wasn't being too nice to them. They left. My burglar alarm starts going off. I don't know if how when you leave your door open, the burglar alarm, it'll go off. Mm-hmm. So it starts going off. It's like 7 officers came from that precinct with their guns drawn to my house. I'm sitting out in front of my yard in a wheelchair because I had broke my pelvis. I had the brain hemorrhage. So I was pretty banged up, I ripped the lining of my urethra. It was a pretty bad accident that I'm still kind of dealing with some of the injuries from that accident. But they come with their guns drawn, and me, I start like, what do you guys, I start talking kind of crap, like, well, you guys never seen a Mexican in a house that has a fireplace or, because they had a fireplace. It was a pretty nice house, and I was proud of it. It was one of those things that, just those little things that I was proud of, like, I didn't have that in Guadalupe, you know what I'm saying? Like, not those type of fireplaces, maybe a little trash can one or something. But, so with that, like, when they came and they arrested me, I started talking crap to them, and they got me and they arrested me. They got me for 7 counts of aggravated assault on 7 officers, and they got me for 7 counts of threatening, intimidating officers with gang because supposedly I'm, because I'm from Eastside Guadalupe, and our connections to the Mexican mafia are, that's supposedly, I'm connected or whatever. That's what they're, the judge and the prosecutor saying. So, and it just made me look bad. And I'm like, man, and the prosecutor's like, well, I'm gonna offer you 6 years. You could either take it or leave it. And at that time, I'm fighting for my children because CPS got involved because I had an inactive metabolite of weed in my system. So like if you smoke weed like a week ago, it'll still be in your system for a month. So it's an inactive. It was inactive in my system. So when the car accident happened, they found that inactive metabolite in my system. So they got involved. So I had to start going to court for my children. So I was fighting for them. And even when they arrested me, I was still going to the courts to fight for them. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that by me signing this plea bargain, that they were going to sever my rights to my children. And I signed, my son AJ, I signed his birth certificate, you know what I'm saying? So I was his son legally, I was his dad legally. And my 2 boys that were biologically mine, those are the ones that I had to fight for, Aiden, I couldn't fight for because his dad is from Oklahoma, so he has a father, And so I had to fight for the boys, but I didn't know that by me signing this plea bargain, they're going to sever my rights, and that's what happened. So they severed my rights. And all my boys got split up. You know what I mean? These years, since 2010, since after the car accident, they got split up. All 4 of them, the boys got split. My 2 of my biologically boys are together. AJ, he's already older. He's, you know what I mean? And it's crazy, he's, we just got in touch, and he's a very good boy, a good man. He's a good man. I'm proud of him.
I'm Rebecca Mendez with Lamplight Ministries, where I serve the Lord by loving others through biblical counseling and workshops. Every day, we're reminded of our fallen world. Through disappointment, grief, fear, despair, we need a Savior. And in Jesus Christ, we have that Savior. He came to rescue us, offering His Spirit to guide us and His Word to comfort, correct, and lead us. If you're a follower of Christ, eager to grow in Him, I'd be honored to walk this journey with you through one-on-one biblical counseling. Together, we'll explore God's Word, find encouragement, and pursue faithful obedience to our Savior. Please visit me at lamplightministries.com to book your appointment today.
Okay, so I get locked up in 2010. I go to prison, and right away the Department of Corrections is viewing me. They're trying to make a packet on me being affiliated with the. So I signed that plea bargain for 6 years. So I'm going to prison for 6 years in 2010. So I go to prison, and I'm over there in Florence, and they started a STG packet on me, an STG packet, and I had just got back to prison, and what an STG packet it is basically, they make you and tell you that you're an affiliated member of whatever, whatever prison gang, and so that's what they were affiliating me with, and at that time, like I had just lost my wife, so I wasn't really. I was mad. I was mad at God. I was mad at God for a good little while. I didn't know how to deal with losing her and losing my kids. Well, one day I'm sitting there and a letter slides under my door. You know what I mean? A letter slides under my door, and me being the way I was raised in there, like if it's not mine, you don't get somebody else's mail. I'm not expecting no mail, and I'm looking at the name on it. It doesn't even the address on the top where they write their name, and I'm
the sender.
Yeah, the sender. There you go. I'm not recognizing it, so I'm like right away, but I see my name on it, so I pick it up, and it's a letter, and she's like, hey, my name's payasa, you know, and she's like, I'm 21 years old. I have no kids, you know. I just got out, but I gave my palabra. She gave her word to my tia that she would write to me, that she had heard about a lot, you know, everything that I've been through, and she just wants to be my friend. And I really dug that because, you know, my tia, one of my tias, rest in peace, she's passed away, but she was a loca too, but she would always, you know, send chicks to write me, you know, when I was in prison. She would always try to, you know, and some, they would write, some would fall off, you know, and it was just one of those things, you know, and well, she actually wrote, you know, so to me, you know, it said a lot about her character, you know, that she was able to keep her word. And so I wrote her back, and I was like, you know, I'm not looking for no relationship or nothing, you know, but, you know, I appreciate that you kept your word to my tia, you know what I mean? That says a lot about you, and I appreciate that. I'm not looking for no relationship, but we can be friends, you know? And so we wrote each other all this whole time, from 2011, and then we became, little by little, we were friends. We started off as friends, and we wrote. I would get like maybe 10, 15 letters a week. Like,
wow, the dedication.
A lot. And the one thing that we did was every letter we asked 5 questions, you know, so we got to know each other real in depth, and she was my friend. She became my best friend, you know. Her name's Vivian, who is my wife. You met her. Mm-hmm. And that's where, you know, I feel like God, like if I look back on my life and I just see how it all played out and how it's played out up until this point, you know, I can see that his hand has been in every part of my life, you know, and my faith has grown tremendously, you know, in him and what he did. He died on the cross for me, you know. So a lot of the stuff that what I didn't mention earlier is that, you know, I come from a pretty big family, and my nana had 12 kids. Her and my tata had 12 kids. My mom's mom and dad, they had 12 kids, and my nana, before she passed away, she passed away just recently, but before she passed away, she had buried 8 of her own children. You know what I mean? And so my family has been through that, you know. And so it's. But I always looked to her for whenever I was going through something in my life. I always looked to her for strength. You know what I mean? Because you think about, you know, how can that woman be so strong to have buried 8 of her children? You know what I mean? Mm. Oh, I'm just going through this little thing. So then it now that, you know, my life has taken another turn, you know, I'm starting to realize that, you know what, but Jesus went through a lot more for me, you know, and for us, you know, like, so that's how, and now that's why, I mean, I look to that, you know, I believe that he, you know, he endured so much for my sins, you know, and the pain and the things that I've gone through in my life were just a part of what he wanted for me, you know, or what my life played. And I always tell this to people, man, is that, you know, we're all, you know, I've talked to you about this too, how I feel like, you know, God, he's made us all unique in our own unique way. Like, nobody can say that they've been through everything you've been through in your life. You know what I'm saying? Right. Nobody can say that. Nobody can say that they have the same fingerprint as you. You are your own person, like, but you're created in his image, so it's just you and him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's where he wanted us as brothers and sisters and neighbors to love our neighbors, is to share your story, because we're okay. So for me, I'm a living testimony of how he's been in my life, you know, and, you know, I feel like, you know, we're all family, you know, and I don't know, it's you know, I went to prison again. Okay, so let me get back to this story. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You're good, bro.
So I ended up, where was that? Okay, so 2015, I get out, in 2015. Okay, so I ended up getting STG. That means that when you get STG, I got STG in 2010, so you get slammed down and you go to SMU2, which is like a security lockdown. Like we're locked down 24 hours every other day, And being locked down 24 hours every other day in the cell by yourself, it could take a toll on your mind, man. And I've been doing that all these years that I've done in prison. I'm not proud of it whatsoever. I do not. And I want everybody to know anything that I've talked about as far as, all the ugly, nasty. I don't praise any of that. I don't condone any of that. Like God, He's changed so much about the way I look at life, and so I got out in 2015, and I married her, man. I married the girl that was writing me,
Payasa.
Payasa, yeah.
My payasa. I wrote
You never
her
introduced her to me as that, but yeah, she probably appreciates it.
her name's Viviana, but
Viviana, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
and hi baby, I love you. And no, but she and that's another blessing. Like that's how, that's, they say that you don't get another chance at stuff like that, or you don't get love twice, or it doesn't come like that, man. But God, I gotta tell you, man, that it does. He's blessed me so much, and she's such a beautiful person, man. She's such a beautiful person. And it's crazy how, like when you meet somebody and you get to know them, it's just and you understand why God put you guys together, like things that you have to work out with each other, like it's pretty beautiful, And so I got out in 2015, married her. She didn't think she could have kids, When we first started writing to each other, we were friends at first, and so I used to tell her, I would give her advice about some of the guys that she was talking to out there, yeah, that dude sounds like a scrub, man. Don't mess with that dude, you know what I mean? Or, you know what, that dude sounds pretty too, he sounds like he's pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you should test him out, you know what I mean? Or take him, have him take you to dinner somewhere. Well, she ended up getting knocked up, pregnant, and the dude left her, And so we had already been writing to each other for a good amount of time, and I was like, you know what, don't even worry about it. I'm getting out. I'll help you raise those kids, you know what I'm saying? And I told her that, and I meant it, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't, I said, I'll help you raise them, and she just took a liking to that, and we had already started connecting, we had already started catching feelings, and so I got out and I married her in 2015, but so she lost those babies. She lost those twin babies, and so she didn't think that she could have kids, and so when she lost those babies, I helped her get through that, and she helped me get through the death of Angela, my mourning process, and we're there for each other. That's what made our bond so strong, and so she ended up getting pregnant in 2015, and in 2016. I was out. She gave birth. I seen my daughter, my first girl, my daughter Delia. I named her after my mom. So it's my first girl, And in 2000, we had her in 2016. I get locked up in 2017. I'm out and I'm still doing kind of good, I'm not getting in trouble, but I'm out there, and I ended up getting hit by a truck, getting off the bus. Okay, so in 2017, I get hit by a truck. She's pregnant. She's 5 months pregnant. We already have Delia, so she's 5 months pregnant now with twins in 2017. So I get hit by a truck, getting off the bus, a city bus, and they put me on medication, and they put me on like all the pain medications, and so I started taking those pain medications, and I started getting addicted to the medications, you know. And when I ran out, I went and tried to go buy some more pills from the streets, you know. And somebody was like, I think I had like $30, and somebody was like, "What do you think you're gonna get with $30? Like, you're only gonna get one pill, you know?" And I'm like, "Well, that's crazy. I'd rather just go to my neighborhood, go spend the $30 on something that's gonna help, you know." And I went, and that was the dumbest thing, one of the dumbest choices that I made at that time. And I went and I got heroin, you know, and I started my little adventure on that, you know. And like I said earlier, like that's the drug that took my mom, you know. But for some reason, like I just feel like God, like I had to go through this experience. I had to go through the experience of, I don't know, I guess being addicted, and then seeing what the love of that drug was that had my mom so invested in the streets and away from her kids that, you know, she couldn't be with her children, you know what I mean? And for me, I mean, that's not why I did it. I mean, I just started doing it because I got addicted to it, you know? But I got addicted to heroin, and I ended up going back. I get locked up for I got locked up for, I get addicted to heroin after I got hit by the truck in 2017, 18. I go to prison, okay, because they got me with the gram of heroin, and they gave me 9 years. They wrote me, they put me in the repeat offender program. I have never been caught with drugs in my life. You know, I've never been arrested for drugs. They could have been like, you know what, let's help this dude out. Let's put him in a rehab or something. They didn't do that. They wanted, my wife's 5 months pregnant, you know, and they could have just sent me to rehab. And they didn't. They gave me 9 years. She's like, and my wife, she's the one that told me to sign the plea bargain. I wasn't going to sign it, you know what I mean? Because that's a lot of time. Yeah. And so I signed it. But, so I signed the plea bargain, and they gave me 9 years. And in 2017, so I went to prison. I finally got to prison in 18, and I went in there with a habit. And I got to tell you, man, that where I was at in Buckeye, man, the yards are just infested with drugs, man. It's like it's like worse than the streets. Like, it's just so ugly in there, man. It's so bad. Like, the devil just has a hold. He has a very strong hold on those yards, you know. But I started doing, I found it like maybe about 2-3 years into my sentence, because I was addicted in there. I got real bad in there. You can see my arms are real bad, you know. I got really, really bad. One day I'm out at rec, and there's this homie right there, and he's like, hey, he's from Flagstaff, and he's like, hey, Triste, can I pray for you, man? I was like, you know, yeah, you want to pray for me? He goes, yeah, just something telling me I want to pray for you, man. I said, yeah, homie, you can pray for me. And he goes, you mind? I said, no, I don't mind kneeling, you know what I mean? I'll kneel. So I kneeled, and we prayed, man, and something just came over me, man. We prayed, and he helped me through the prayer, you know, giving my life to God, you know. And, you know, something just grabbed me. It was the Holy Spirit. It was the first time I've ever felt the Holy Spirit in my life. I've never felt it up until that time, you know. And, there was another time too, but, you know, that time, like, I knew it was God, you know, like, and, all my life, he's been there. You know, I know he's been there. You know, I read the Bible. There's always been Bibles in the jails or wherever I was going. You know, but when I gave my life to God that day, with the homie, it kind of changed me, So in there in prison where everybody got to know Triste and how Triste was, I made a name for myself in there, I went to prison and I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that at all. I hate that I made a name for myself in there, but that's what it was. That's what happened. That's my experience, and but I know that God, He has something more for my life, and I believe that, now that I have, I have stage 4 cancer, prostate cancer. Long story short, again, a mixture fell on my leg. I went to the hospital, and for my leg, because it was dead, like my leg, and I was just having problems. So we went, and I had told them about blood being in my stool as well, and they ran some tests, and they came back, and they said that they found a large mass in my prostate, and that I'm stage 4. I have stage 4 cancer. I mean, it's all through my spine, and the doctors, like my wife and my sister, they're all, everybody's kind of taking it hard, and I'm just like, why you guys, you know what I mean? What's God? You guys have to believe that God is His hands in all this. You know what I mean? Like, why fear? What? I'm not fearing nothing. I know that He's got me. And I believe that that's part of my testimony. That because the doctor's telling her 5 years. Okay, watch when the 15th year comes around and I'm still all viejito and all old right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could turn around, I want to be able to turn around and say, you know what? That's God. God still had His hand in my life all this time. You know what I'm saying? And I never lost that faith. I'm not going to lose it. It's just building. I'm just getting stronger, and it did. It started off as a mustard seed in my life. I'm not one of these dudes that I'm not like a holy roller. Like, I'm not big like on, because I don't know, like, verses by heart, or like, I just know the Spirit. I just feel the Spirit, and I just thank God that He's given me life today. That I was able to wake up this morning and enjoy today. That's how I'm looking at, day for day. I'm taking it day by day. I forgot to mention my twins. How can I do that? Because she got pregnant, and she got pregnant with twins. And so, excuse me. She was pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl. And so when I got locked up, she was 5 months pregnant. So they ended up giving me 9 years. I ended up doing 7 years. I just got released like maybe 2.5 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. And like I said, we just barely found out I got cancer, but I got twins. I got a little boy. His name's Peter, Emiliano Peter, and then Talia Larissa. And it's a boy and a girl, and they're 7 years old. They've been locked up. I mean, I was locked up the whole time they were. Well, she had them when I had got locked up. So I was in there I've been in there the whole time. So this is the first year that I'm actually gonna be out for their birthday. They're gonna turn 8. Their birthday's on Thanksgiving this year. It falls on Thanksgiving, so we're gonna get to make a big Thanksgiving, and con el favor de Dios, we're gonna be able to make a good little meal, make a good turkey and the birthday. I want to fry a turkey, man. I had fried turkey one time, and
never tried it before.
Never.
I always wanted to, but I'm scared to burn down my house.
Never went back. You eat fried turkey, you'll never go back to baked turkey. I don't know. It's just my opinion.
Have you had fried turkey, Ben?
I have.
What are your thoughts?
I overcooked it, so
okay.
it
You
was
made
my
it
bad.
yourself.
Yeah, I tried it.
What was it, peanut oil or something?
Peanut oil.
Okay.
Yeah, I left it in there too because I didn't want it to be raw. I left it a little bit longer, and It was a little too tostadito, bro. It was a little crunchy. But now I smoke the turkeys, and that's pretty legit, bro.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, you do it for a day or two or something, or just
No, it's like
slow cooking it?
Yeah, 6, 7 hours. It's like a slow cook. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Smoking it?
Smoke. It's good, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't know how to do that.
Right, to do a Jen Psaki, circling back, do you feel like when you were in prison and you said you knelt down there, do you feel like that's the time that you got saved, that you had that personal relationship with Jesus Christ?
Well, no, because I gotta say, maybe about 4 years ago. Okay, 4 years ago, like I just had enough. I was in there strung out. My wife was so like she was just. I was so strung out in there, man. It was ugly. It was ugly, and she had to be the one out here raising my children. You know what I'm saying? Like she. That's why I say that God, like, just he
Bless you.
yeah, there's a hand in my life. He's had a hand in my life, and you know she's been a writer, man. She stuck it out, and she now, like, you know, we got a house and my kids, you know, and so it's just now it's different, you know, with us. Sorry, I just forgot where I was going with it, but what were we talking
You're
about?
talking about 4 years. You felt like you got saved 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was still strung out in there, and I was like, she was having to pay bills and do all kinds of stuff, like, you know, not all kinds of crazy stuff, but just like I just
Hold it down.
right
Yeah.
by herself out here, you know. And me, I'm in there being a tonto, being an idiot, you know, doing dumb in there. And I'm telling you, man, like, you guys seen like all the stuff when they show it on TV about how wild it was in there. I was in there when them doors were open like that. Guys were walking out of their cells 12 o'clock at night, going to other buildings, walking around like it's just nothing, like it's a dorm and it's prison, you know what I mean? Like, doors are supposed to be locked, you know, at 12 o'clock midnight.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be, and that's how it was. It was really like that, man. It was crazy. It was like you're out in the park and you got your homes. There's like 10 dudes in one cell, everybody around
Just kicking it.
doing drugs, smoking, just living, partying. That's all it was, you know. And so when I, for like about maybe 4 years ago, I just had enough. I was just so burnt out, and I just felt like, you know what? Okay, now I understand what this is about. Like, God, you know what? I'm done. I completely surrender my life to you. I'm done. I'm completely done. I no longer want to think or do or say anything that had to do with my old self. I'm giving you the keys to my car of my life. It's all in your hands. I got down on my knees and I just prayed and I asked him, Father, just come into my life. You know, I accept you as my Lord and Savior. You know, I know you died on the cross for my sins. I know that you suffered for me, you know, and I thank you, and I'm sorry that you had to go through all that, you know. Because I'm sure it hurt, you know, like, and but I thank him, you know, like he endured so much, like, for everybody, you know, and I thank him, you know, like so I gave my life to him that day, and I gotta say, man, that remember I told you about when I felt the Holy Spirit, like, I tell it to my primo JJ, and I don't know, he kind of laughed at me, because I feel like, okay, I was laying there, excuse me, when I you know, I prayed, and I was laying there, and I just felt like, okay, you remember the Ghostbusters, and you remember Slimer? How he used to just be able to go to the thing? So I just felt something like that go like into my panza from the side, like for real. Like it was weird. I can't explain
No
it.
Slimer, but yeah.
And I just, you know, I mean, it was nothing crazy after that, but I just like, I started just being so invested. I just stayed away. I got away from a lot of the dudes that I was hanging around with, because a lot of the guys that are in prison over there where I was at, you know, that's like old retirement. You go to retire over there, you know, and so a lot of the dudes there I knew, but everybody's so addicted. Everybody is they're just crazy over there. It's just nuts. And it's, so when I would go out to rec, I would take my Bible, and I would go out there by myself. I started by myself, you know, and there was this one dude that I knew from when I was a kid in Adobe Mountain. You know, I seen him, and he came, and he was like, "Hey, can I read the Bible?" "Yeah, man, come on." So me and him would just go out there and we'd read the Bible together. We would have Bible study. We'd have rec every other day, so I'd go out there, and everybody would be in their little, doing their own things, but it's basically just everybody around tables doing drugs, you know? So I had to just separate myself from that, and I would take my Bible out there, and I would have Bible study, and it started to grow a little bit, you know what I mean? Guys started to come little by little, and so that was like the last 6 months that I did here, just like the last 6 months. And you know, there was a few guys that got saved, like they came to Christ. You know, we were able to bring a couple of dudes to the Lord. Our little prayer group got pretty big, you know, and you know, I just pray over them guys, man, that are struggling there with that stuff, man, because it's ugly, you know, and it's sad that, you know, they just, the way I was just listening to something on YouTube or something about, they were talking about how DOC changed their name from ADOC.
Rehabilitation, and they put different words in there. I just saw my friend yesterday. He's over there in Kingman, Arizona. So he's in the private prison, DRE or something. But he said, yeah, they changed the name and they put rehabilitation. And he's like, there's nothing in there to rehabilitate you. There's no tools.
And that's what kind of sucks, man, because it's reentry, rehabilitation, reentry. Yeah. And you know, like I said, I just got out. I got out June 23rd or July 23rd or something. But I've only been out like 3 months, maybe, you know. And when you get out, they're supposed to like help you be set up with like food stamps or whatever you need help with, and they didn't give me none of that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what do you real? It was just, and it sucks, man. It sucks because, you know, taxpayers are paying for you know, people to be getting rehabilitated, man. But, you know, I've always said this all my life is that, you know, I had to rehabilitate myself, you know, with God's help, you know, and I had to find a way. I had to grind it out, you know, and I think I kind of finally got it, you know, maybe not fully yet, you know, but God is still working on me. He still has his hand in my life, and that's what's all I got, you know. I can only hope that, you know, there's somebody out there that you know is going through it or feeling like, you know what I mean, they can't get through it, bro. She can get through it, you know what I mean? Like, you seek God, man, and just give it all to him, and you know what I mean? He got it, you know. It's just keeping that faith, you know.
So as you shared this with our listeners, right, and I really appreciate you, you know, pouring your heart out and, you know, telling your story. And you're really saying this to like your kids, your family, your wife, you know, your primos, even JJ, you know, we'll include him as well. You know, what would you, as a final point, what would you want to convey to, you know, the listeners of this podcast?
You know, no, just that, you know, what I just said, you know, that, you know, in life, man, sometimes, you know, like we hit areas in your life, you know, we hit areas in our lives that we may not understand, you know, like, or situations that happen to us, you know, like, or things that happen in life, you know, there's a purpose for that, you know, like, and a lot of it is just God's work, what he has, you know, and you know, I just want the people to know, you know, that God is real, you know, and Jesus Christ is for real, you know, and he's there, man. You know, he doesn't forsake us, you know, he really doesn't, you know, he's so good and loving, you know. I just I don't know, I guess that's it, you know.
And I mean, so just to kind of, I think it'll help, you know, reiterate the point of what you're saying and how you said all through your life you saw God working. And I remember when I was a kid, I was maybe 6 or 7, and I heard a preacher preach, And I don't know why this stuck with me for all these years. I'm 49 now, so about 42 years ago, I heard this, and because my mom sometimes, I don't know, she crocheted. I don't know what they call it, but it's like a wood frame, and they put cloth over it, and it has like dots, and they sew through it, right?
Right.
And the preacher talked about, like, when he was a little boy, he would see that, and he would be laying on his mom's lap, and he would look up, and you see the threads going through, and all kind of threads, and it looks ugly. And in our eyesight that we can see, we look up at that, and we're like, he would say, "Mom, that looks so ugly." Like he thought his mom was terrible at what she was doing. And she finished it, and she showed it to him, and he's like, "Wow." Like, it looked beautiful. It was a house, a stream, a beautiful picture.
Right.
But what he saw was very ugly, because he just saw the knots and the ends of the bottom,
it's like the bottom
the
side.
bottom of the threads.
Yeah.
And I think that's our life, right? And God sees the big picture, and even the hardships, even our sin, right? Our consequences. He uses them in our life and paints a beautiful picture that only He could paint, right? And I get that image too, of just seeing your life. As you look up, you're like, man, there are a lot of mistakes, right? And all of us have made mistakes, and we look at it and we're like, how could God do anything with that? Right. But He does. And you sharing your story, I believe, will help others. And we may see just the knots and the threads and just the ugliness of it, but God sees a beautiful picture. And each one of us, as you said, right, has a unique picture that He paints in our lives based upon the things He's allowed in our lives, the trials and the tribulations, especially what you're going through right now. And I encourage our listeners to pray for Peter and, just what he's going through, and just the awesomeness of reuniting with your family, your first Christmas, right, with your kids. First Thanksgiving, and there's going to be a lot of first, and I pray that God gives you many more years first with your family. But I do appreciate you coming on our podcast and sharing your testimony. It's very powerful.
Yeah, I'd just say thank you, bro. It's encouraging. I was thinking of a verse right now, just kind of what you guys are talking about, and everybody's got the ebbs and flows of life, and some have it worse. And I think, me and my wife talk about this all the time, that there's always somebody out there that's hurting worse than you are. And there's always somebody that's, broken, or there's a lot of brokenness. Look, even in the church, like there's people in the church, and there's just a lot of people that are broken. There's just a lot of trials and tribulations people go through. But the verse I was thinking about was Romans 8:28. It's one of my favorite verses of the Bible. 8:28. And we know that all of those who love God, all things work together for good for those who are called according to His purpose. And I think that's what it is. Like, God can take evil and make good out of it. He can take a broken and fix it, right? That's what He's in the business of doing. And I think, like you said too, kind of like we're a work in progress, right? We're not there yet, but we all are, bro. Like, all of us are a work in progress. But it's encouraging to see, where God has taken you from. We started out growing up in Guadalupe, and now you are in a trial right now, bro. But you're looking back and saying, man, God had His hand in my life at every step of the way, and He still has His hand in my life, even in your current situation. And it's encouraging to me as a believer, as a brother. We're part of the family of God, right?
Praise God, amen.
It's a beautiful thing to see God working in somebody's life, bro. So thank you for sharing that story, bro. So, it's heavy, bro, but it's awesome to see how God's working in your life, bro.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate that. I do. I hope that my story can help somebody. You know what I mean? And like I said, I don't praise any of the negative stuff that I talked about in my story. I just hope that somebody can find some type of encouraging, encouragement. That's all I got. You know what I mean? That's what Peter Daniel got. So, thank you guys for having me, man.
Thanks for coming on the show, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man.
All the way from Buckeye.
All the way from Buckeye. Well, and we just want to thank you guys for joining us for this episode, and just be sure to like this video if it's been a blessing to you. If this episode, this story, this awesome testimonial has been a blessing to you, please subscribe to the channel, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Next time.
Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Abundant Life Podcast. We pray you were blessed by today's episode. Please visit us online at abundantlife.fm. Until next time, may God bless you.